Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you are in the world. My name is Rosa, and I am the founder of Oasis Wellness and Yoga Center. And today I want to discuss something that I have recently discovered in my childhood trauma recovery work, and that is the fact that I was running an operating system in my psyche, my thoughts, my beliefs, my feelings that was not beneficial and did not serve me in my adult life. And that operating system, much like the operating system that's programmed onto a computer, manages the applications, additional programs, and functions and processes of that computer. So, this operating system was basically running my life as an adult, and I did not realize it. It is called the Unprotected Child Operating System. And as the name suggests, it is something that developed. Basically, I was programmed to operate like this as an unprotected child. And without intervention, I carry that operating system with me into adulthood. So I want to give two characteristics today that can be associated with this operating system. I also want to share an alternate operating system that you and I can choose to operate from instead. The alternative is called the Safe Adult Operating System. And this is particularly important if you know that you are aiming for healthy and cohesive and interdependent relationships. And also if you are tired of the wounds from your childhood influencing how you live your life day to day. So let's jump right on into it. The first characteristic that can be associated with the unprotected child is an inability to openly and truthfully communicate. I know that was something that I dealt with. I could not truthfully say what I felt and openly do it. And some reasons why that might be the case is I grew up where people were saying children are to be seen, not heard. You speak when spoken to, and you say in the child's place. Another reason is when your spoken feelings and thoughts and apprehensions are not taken seriously, you tend to just be quiet. You just tend to not say anything because you've said, I feel uncomfortable around this person. And they say, oh, that's just your granddad. Or you said, I kind of don't feel loved. Oh, you think I don't love you? Well, if I didn't love you, you wouldn't have food on your table. You wouldn't have clothes on your back. You wouldn't have a roof over your head. Another reason that there is this inability to openly and truthfully communicate is that when you speak, what you say is not taken seriously and it's ridiculed. So people might ridicule how you talk. They might ridicule what you say, the things that you think, and the things that you choose to express. Another characteristic that can be associated with the unprotected child operating system is judging the self as being unworthy and unacceptable. And this can show up as levels of shyness and being closed off. Just because you're shy, it doesn't mean that it's because of childhood trauma. But if you know that you have experienced childhood trauma and you know that you're shy, it might be worth looking into whether your shyness is associated with the childhood trauma. So, you know how you see children or people and they have short responses and they're like that with everybody. It's not just because they don't like you or they don't want to talk with you. They're just very short with things. Or you ask a child, how was school? And they say, it was good, it was fun. Well, what was fun about it? It was just school. We did fun stuff. That's kind of being closed off. Or you see people who are extremely shy when they're around crowds of people or when they're around new people. That could be an indication that you have been programmed with the unprotected child operating system and that you still run the unprotected child operating system. And here are some examples of judging the self as being unworthy and or unacceptable. You are constantly told, or some reasons I should say, If you were constantly told that you are a disgrace or an embarrassment to your family or to your parents or the school, then it's likely that as a child, you really begin to feel that you should be ashamed of yourself no matter what you do, and you should feel deeply ashamed. Another reason why the unprotected child might judge themselves as being unworthy is when others continuously nitpick about the things that you do or the things that you cannot control. So whether you can or cannot control these things, you're getting constantly nitpicked. And being constantly nitpicked is a message to you that you are unworthy and that you are unacceptable. And so unprotected children tend to take these things on as being the absolute truth about themselves. Before I get into the Safe Adult Operating System, I do want to take a couple minutes just to talk about the fact that I don't condemn running the unprotected child operating system, because I know and I understand how and why it is developed. It is developed as a means of survival. You were programmed to act this way, to feel this way, to have these characteristics. So, by no means am I condemning running the unprotected child operating system in your psyche. However, I think that if it is your goal to improve yourself and improve your relationship with others and yourself, I think it's worth looking into whether this actually serves you or not at this point in your life. I also want to talk about the fact that we as children, are the most vulnerable population in our societies and in our cultures. And it can be difficult, if not damn near impossible, for children to access the personal power that it takes to see yourself as worthy and acceptable, the personal power that it takes to openly and truthfully communicate with others. So, ain't no shame about it. It's just, you might want to, I encourage you to see if you are running this operating system. And if you are, think about whether it serves you at this point in your life. And although I provided 2 characteristics, and I will for the Safe Adult Operating System, this is not an exhaustive list. There may be some other characteristics. I'm sure there are other characteristics that I haven't even thought of yet. So that's that on that. And now on to the Safe Adult Operating System. Just for clarification, the reason why it's called the Safe Adult Operating System is because you needed safe adults around you. And it's really what would have kept you from being an unprotected child. Also, it represents you now being in a position to give yourself what you always needed: protection and acceptance. One characteristic that can be associated with the Safe Adult Operating System is using personal power to speak without regard to whether what you say will be received and or heard. So the person running the Safe Adult Operating System understands I have a divine right to express how I feel, what I need, what I see, what I desire. We have a right to speak that truth, no matter if somebody's going to hear it, no matter if they're going to ridicule it, no matter if they're going to say, oh, you think you're better because you want this kind of life. You think you're better than the rest of your family. It doesn't matter whether they're going to hear it, ridicule it or not. The safe adult speaks without regard to that. Another characteristic that can be associated with running the Safe Adult Operating System is that you judge yourself as being worthy and beneficial. So an example of this is that if I make a faux pas, a mistake, or a horrible decision, my worth is no less. I am no less worthy because of that. I might feel remorse or some type of regret about the decision or the mistake. I might have a deep understanding of just how deeply impactful my decision has been for myself and others, but I don't feel shame. And shame is associated with a sense of low self-worth. Another example is that when others ridicule or judge the self, you don't. You do not turn against yourself and judge yourself as being unworthy. Doesn't matter what other people say. If they're going to ridicule your dress, your hair, the makeup you put on your face today, the outfit you wore, the profession you chose, the money you got in your account, it doesn't matter. You don't turn against yourself when you're running the safe adult operating system. You judge yourself as worthy at all times. So that's it for this video today. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all come up with some other characteristics that you think can be associated with either of the operating systems, make sure that you leave a comment. I would love to hear it because I know that this is something that I've been dealing with, and I think it might be something that a lot of us might be dealing with as well. So if you like the video, leave a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. If you do subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. I do try to post weekly. If you're on this journey, I'm sending you my love and encouragement. I know it's not an easy journey, but I'm here with you in it. All right. See you next time. Bye.